Mr. Schwan, thank you so much for joining us on Bloomberg Surveillance. The news overnight, which was big news, was that the WHO recommended against using remdesivir. What does that mean for greater demand for treatments like Regeneron, which you make?
We believe that antibody cocktails will play a major role in the fight against COVID-19. Really the bottleneck with antibody cocktails is the scale-up, is manufacturing. Monoclonal antibodies are very complicated to produce. It's not so easy to scale them up. So that will be the real bottleneck. And we are working hard to ramp up production as fast as we can.
But does the latest news on remdesivir change the outlook for Regeneron?
I think no matter what, irrespective of other potential therapeutics, the demand for antibody cocktails will by far outstrip the potential supply. So we have to make sure that we target really the right patient groups with that kind of medicine, patients at risk, critical people in the healthcare sector. But we cannot provide such a medicine broadly for broad parts of the population.
Mr. Schwan, you've always said that, of course, treatments are essential, even whilst we're looking for a vaccine. We're so close to actually having something workable in terms of a vaccine with Moderna, with Pfizer. Does it actually change your calculus on treatments for COVID?
I mean, first of all, it's really good news that these newly developed vaccines seem to be very effective. So they will no doubt play a major role to get this pandemic under control. But vaccines will never be a 100% solution. We know that from other infectious diseases. We know that from flu, for example, and therefore there will be a continued need for other therapeutics, antivirals, and also testing.
How quickly could we see the FDA approve Regeneron? We're expecting it possibly this week or next week. Could it come today?
Yes, we have, or rather Regeneron has filed for emergency authorization. So that could happen very soon, but really I would have to refer you to the FDA. It's the FDA's decision, but we have filed for emergency authorization.
So once it's actually approved, how quickly could you start delivering it?
There are first deliveries possible by Regeneron. There's an ongoing tech transfer from Regeneron to Roche. That's well on track. So at Roche, we will be able to provide supply in the first quarter. But again, overall supply, combined supply of Regeneron and Roche will still be limited. We are talking about 2 million doses here. So we need to make sure that those valuable medicines are really reserved for patients at high risk.
How much will you be able, though, to scale up next year?
We have indicated that the combined capacity we can provide for next year is about 2 million doses. That assumes 2.4 gram per dose. And that's already stretching the capacities. Now, over the longer term, of course, we are working to further increase capacities, but this is our best estimate for the time being.
Mr. Schwan, what does a Biden administration mean for Roche and drug companies?
We have worked together with both parties in the United States over the last decades. And what we have seen is that the United States is a country which values innovation, which rewards innovation. So, you know, also with the new administration, I'm very confident that the US will remain a country which embraces an innovative, vibrant life science industry, and will make sure that those innovations actually find their way to the patient.